What's up, cheese curds? NicholassRivas here, talking about politics and stuff. And today we're going to be talking about just a good ass week for lefties and, people not fucking far right, extreme, crazy repubs. Um, Trump got raided. Alex Jones got caught up in his case. And yeah, like I don't think there's going to be huge repercussions for these people as the powerful and the elites never really get anything to them. But god damn it, is it not funny to like see this occur and like finally some comeuppance of some sort. Um, so yeah, I guess let's discuss the Alex Jones thing because we just discussed the Trump stuff. It's funny just to see Alex Jones finally get it, man. Like, we knew it was coming with a lot of his, ludicrosies. Like you could see the guy fumble one day, but the way he fumbled, oh my god. Like what was his lawyers thinking? What was he thinking for the timeline? Those who don't know, Alex Jones is in like a plethora of lawsuits, litigations. He has criminal and civil lawsuits. So the guy is pretty much fucked from both ends. But what makes the situation even more funny is the guy is with the sheer amount of litigation, he's gonna be financially fucked. I don't think we're gonna see criminal charges, but financially, the guy has pinned himself in a bankruptcy situation, which has already happened. He filed for bankruptcy before that was for his company. So I think a lot of people are waiting for him to get some sort of criminal charge, and maybe with his perjury, I can kind of see the possibility, but it's too hard to pin. And I think it would be, I don't know, I wouldn't say justified, but it would just be like kind of holding your breath for something that you can theoretically just kind of, mess him over with financially and be, not that I wouldn't say the same repercussions, but, hold a candle to something and more likely to mess with him because prison people like those rich elites guys, they just get like 20 days. So to see him get something, it is a little bit reassuring to know it's going to be financial because that's going to cripple him in many of ways. So timeline: Alex Jones accuses the Sandy Hook families of being completely fake. They hired crisis actors to get people to get your weapons taken away by having these big moments with gun violence, but it's fake because obviously gun violence doesn't happen. So Alex Jones and many of his Cretans were all on the side of let's just accuse them of these disgusting things. They backpedal when the families start coming after Alex Jones, obviously, because that's, your fucking kid who just died and, you're going to defend your family. So through litigation, they put pressure on Jones and his estates. And the idea from there was, let me get this kill. Bam, baby. The idea from there was let's just see where and why, where and how he's going to get basically royally fucked. He then through all his court stuff, he does get messed up through one or two cases, but the big mic drop was in recent litigation against I don't know who exactly it was. I think one of the family members basically said, hey, you need to prove that you did in fact discuss the Sandy Hook via text. The families had proof of him saying stuff, but they wanted further proof with his text where he, like mentioned the families and he discussed this and da-da-da-da, which he said he didn't. He had nothing. And when checking his phone, they come to find out, oh, he did have stuff. Like he talked about it here and here. And he's in trouble now for perjury, for lying, saying he didn't. But the thing is, how did they get his phone messages? Well, his lawyers then sent. They sent the messages to the prosecutors. Message, or the prosecutors basically just got all his messages ever, and yeah, the guy's team basically set him up and ruined his life. So he initially had to pay, I think, 5 million, and then the next day they came out with like the additional charges or the additional compensation that was required, and it was ended up totally being 55 million. His company's already in bankrupt. Doesn't necessarily mean he himself is poor and he needs to um, scrap for some nickels and dimes to pay for this stuff. The bankruptcy thing he did for his company was kind of a way to avoid paying these hefty things. You get like basically the government kind of tapping your butt a little bit, saying, "Oh, you can't get businesses, but we'll help you pay for this," or we don't expect you to pay for the pending debt you have because your bankruptcy kind of absolves you of it in a sense. Not absolves you, but doesn't have you pay it directly, right? You have to pay in some form. So yeah. So with this though, he's gonna have to find a way to pay, and he has money. He has money to pay for stuff. And I think you're gonna get a big amount of his fans defending him and donating, because I don't know if this is true. This is something I just saw on Twitter, but he got a hefty sum of donations after the litigation because I think his fans, pity him, and they obviously like him too. So yeah, the guy is in deep water. He is pretty fucked. And I can't see a world where he bounces back. Just it's so funny. I'm kind of saying the same shit that I said in my last video with Trump. Was I don't see this guy bouncing back. At the very least, I don't see him having his credibility. Not to say he had any, but he's definitely lost it now. Especially after all this, right? So we'll see what happens. But Jesus Christ, this guy is pretty fucked. And it's just funny, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I want Alex Jones to be hurt, like to be maimed and beat up, but the guy is a piece of shit, and I think anybody who feels bad for him is doing a disservice to themselves. Like, the guy is just a terrible person. God damn it, I'm doing terrible. So to get his comeuppance is beautiful. It's finally nice to see something. Because for years, for every crisis, every societal big woe, the guy was shitting on people and unjustly, like with no claims. And his defense was, we can't discuss this. I can't just theorize and discuss. Like, my guy, you're calling kids fake. Kids who've died fake. And it works. Some of my closest colleagues, friends, families have told me these disgusting theories of, well, you can see here at second 3 in this clip that I just found randomly on Tumblr. One of the kids winks at the camera before he dies. Like, what are these claims? Like, there's no substantial anything to this. When the shooter in Las Vegas did his shooting, everyone and their mother was like, there was 5 shooters. You can see here at the West Gate, there was a light that blinked for 2 seconds. Like, get some goddamn foundation to these stories, because it's literally people just theorizing and looking stupid. When you have people who were there, when you know people who were there, and you have to basically have a whole village lie about something that doesn't make sense. Occam's razor states whatever the simplest answer solution is, probably the most likely. Are you telling me that the government had to basically get the police department, the citizens of Las Vegas, the employees of the hotel, the victims of the shooting themselves, the celebrities that performed, to lie and say there was one shooter and there was this decoy, and you have all these parties you have to get to lie, not including the government agencies themselves, right? Or a guy who was fucking crazy shot people, and his ability to purchase weapons were easy, and it's coming back to haunt us that a guy with money, wealth, and affluent background can just do things like this. Like, that doesn't sound like that far-fetched to me. So why is it so far-fetched to people that a guy was just crazy? A guy was just doing something that most humans couldn't even comprehend, but given our lax gun laws, he was able to do it, right? Like, that's not that far-fetched. What is far-fetched is getting thousands of people to cooperate a story of a fake shooting. People who I know personally, people who've been affected in my own hometown, have been accused of malicious acts of espionage. So the idea of Alex Jones and his little cretin deplorable pieces of shits um, are just disgusting. And yes, Alex Jones is right on certain things, but doesn't make him any better and doesn't make him any more credible than any other news source, which is very low bar to say. But I mean, there's a reason why he's banned on everything, which I don't agree with. But it's hard to not hear his egregious talkings and call him what he is, a piece of shit. So I think it's a good place to end it here because I'm fucking dead and my partner's just staring at my body. So thank you so much. Y'all have a good one and baba booey.